Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Here we are for a VTP Stage 2 Online Technical Tuesday Coaching Call 199, all right, for the 7th of July 2026. I hope you're well. I hope you've enjoyed a good start to the week. There's been some interesting price action, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. As always, you are very welcome here. Just remember that you're always responsible for your own trading and investing decisions. And if you want a little bit more help and support, well, the Q3 VTP Trader Accountability Group will be starting this evening, okay? An opportunity to basically just help build discipline, accountability, and consistency with kind of other supportive traders who are at the same dedication that you're showing as well. All right, so let us have a look at euro. It's not one we've looked at for a while, okay? And part of that is because it's been a bit dull. As we just said, here we go. Euro against dollar on the daily, euro sterling, euro Aussie, euro CAD, DAX, euro Kiwi, euro Swiss, and euro yen. So here we go. As we said, the kind of the sort of it's probably easy to draw on here. They kind of euro dollar there is a little bit, probably more like a kind of a bear flag pattern that we saw the opposite of on the dollar index, not surprisingly. But that has just really, the last couple of months, it's worked its way down. And now, for me, I'd be saying if there's to be any strength in this, it needs to get above that daily 20 and hold it. You know, the last couple of times, it's just not really sort of done much as it got up there, but it was a inside bar, pin bar, inside bar. All right, that is, you know, that is a price action combo, and then bang, just collapsed its way down. And now you're looking at here, okay, inside bar, pin bar. Once again, is this just coiling up? 4-hour chart, is this just coiling up right in front of the FOMC minutes? All right, that's what we might be looking at there with euro. But it is kind of, as I said, it is a bit of a mixed picture because like euro against yen, I mean, if you look at that on the daily chart, I wouldn't exactly say, you know, I wouldn't exactly say that fills me with great joy. You know, if you look at that, that's not exactly been easy to trade. If anything, once again, I just see that's kind of coiling up a bit, you know, price coiling up there on euro against the yen. Euro against Swiss, if I go to the daily chart, euro against daily chart, if you look at that for the last almost nearly a month now, euro against Swiss, you know, you've had the 50 acting as support, the 200 mostly as resistant, and for the most part, apart from that one pop which didn't even get any higher, it's just been coiled up there, isn't it? I just look at that as, you know, as an intraday trader, right? You might be loving that. If you're a swing trader, well, you're not really getting much joy there. And you know, here we are, price and all the moving averages coming together. All right, that doesn't exactly fill me with great joy. You know, that just becomes a sit and watch. And the interesting thing is that you know, even though comdols have been weak, if we look at that, euro Aussie, that strengthened over the last week. Euro Kiwi over the last week has strengthened. All right, not so much against euro CAD, but then it's not exactly been hammering its way out. Then CAD has been weakest of the pile and stuff. So it's you know, euro is it's in STAM. But it's a very mixed picture there, isn't it? There is a very mixed picture, okay? And so, you know, part of STAM 2 is about doing this work so that when you do see a mixed picture for a currency, well, that's when you tread carefully, all right? You tread carefully. You start to wait and look for the very best setups, okay? You don't just jump in at the first thing that, you know, you spied. You know, what we want to see is an alignment to give us an indication, yep, there's real strength here across the currency, or you know, there's real weakness across the board. But that just looks a little bit, yeah, all looks a little bit mixed and messy there, doesn't it? Let us go to pound then. All right, let's have a look at sterling. What's the scores and the doors here? All right, let's put this on the dailies on this one. Yeah, okay. So cable on the daily, euro sterling on the daily, pound Aussie on the daily, pound CAD, pound yen, pound Swiss, pound Kiwi, FTSE. Okay, so bang. All right, so you know what we have seen is, there we go, pound against yen, sterling strength, pound against dollar, sterling strength, pound against Swiss, sterling strength, pound against Aussie, sterling strength, pound against Kiwi, sterling strength, pound against Canadian dollar, sterling strength, euro against sterling, that is sterling strength. So As I said, we just looked at the euro picture and it was a bit messy, wasn't it? It's a little bit messy, maybe one or two, setups in there, but quite a mixed picture. Whereas, as I said, what you really want to be doing is, it's STAM 2, it's FX. I want to be buying strength and selling weakness. That looks all a lot of bit of strength. Okay, I might not necessarily understand why it's strength because I think we're about to get an absolute screw in with Burnham and his circus. All right, but what I think and what I trade are very different. Okay, you have to trade what you see. You can have your views, but you have to trade what you see. And when I look at that, what I see is sterling strength. All right, so why would I fight it? Are there any reversal patterns there? Okay, that you could see that would tell you, oh, this is not true strength. I don't see any. If you do, well, by all means, feel free to to let me know. But I don't really see any there. Okay, what I see is a lot of sterling strength there. So once again, why am I fighting it? It's top of the stand. The price action is supporting the trends in there. All right, you've got momentum. So why am I fighting it? Okay, especially when there's no real UK data coming out this week, no major data. Okay, Bailey's speaking today, but he bores everybody. But what yep, Walsh's comments in the FMC minutes will have a huge impact, but we're not getting any real major red folder UK data. So why would you be fighting that at the moment, ladies and gentlemen? All right. Okay. So the kind of thing that does interest me is that you've heard me banging on about this for months, isn't it? Really about euro sterling in that kind of almost descending triangle, this kind of sort of 86.20, 86.30 zone. Okay. We looked at, and you've heard me talk about it most weeks, is that every time it came down to this zone, it kind of bounced off it nicely, didn't it? But every bounce would it just bounced. It didn't get as high, did it? Every bounce was lower, and then we broke through, and we've continued down. Okay, and that I think is a mix of sterling strength, all right, and euro weakness. Okay, so I think some of that euro weakness is a case of they hiked rates in Europe. But now it's looking like perhaps where people thought there might be sort of like maybe 3 rate hikes this year in total. They're talking now that there might be one in September, and that'll be it. Okay, so invariably that kind of takes the wind out of the sails of the euro and sterling. Listen, maybe sterling's rising because the markets think that Burnham and whoever is his chancellor is, let's hope it's not Miliband, screw it up so badly that basically interest rates, the gilt yields absolutely pop higher. Okay, which is generally usually attracts flows into the currency and stuff. So but you can see for yourself that's what we're doing there. Euro sterling is kind of falling away. So yeah, so there you go. I don't think I need to go into too much detail on any of those sterling. Hopefully you can just even see that. And that's why I have my chart set up like this. All right. So I can quickly see, is there alignment? Is there strength? Okay. Is there weakness? Or do I, or is it, as we saw in that euro, is it a bit of a messy mixed picture where, you just, well, if it is messy and mixed, just tread carefully. All right. You don't go playing in a minefield, all right? Why would you? All right, and that's the same when it comes to us trading markets like this. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Hope that's given you a little bit of help, a little bit of insight. Next week is going to be the 200th VTP Stage 2 piece. Okay, so people come to the VTP Stage 2 call and they kind of sort of say, well, Paul, it's kind of the same every week. It's just you going through the markets you're interested in and looking at them, and I'm saying, well, yes, it is. It is the same every week. I'm not chasing the latest fad, not chasing the latest trend, not trying to be anything I'm not. This is the job. This is the work of being a good swing FX trader, is just doing a simple, repeatable process that you can do every month, every week, every day, every session. Okay, and as you do that, that is how you build up the experience and the knowledge, okay, to start to recognize and understand the shifts and the movement in those big major markets, and then start to position yourself accordingly. All right, have a fabulous week, everybody. All right, trade well, and undoubtedly I will speak to you soon.